We have so much to be thankful for. Let's talk about it. Bro, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Mine was good. It was solid. I will admit that I had pink eye in each eye during the last week, and I'm still if you're watching the show and you see I have a weird eye going on, it's because I'm still getting over the second one. Um, I took 6 naps on Thanksgiving Day, so
That's got to be a record.
yeah, I was dealing with random lethargy, like you get kind of tired when you feel like you got a cold or something coming on. I had that kind of tired, but I had no other symptom. Obviously, my eye, but usually those are not tied together. Those two things. So, um, but otherwise, we had delicious. I was in charge of the turkey, which is a little bit. It's intimidating. You don't want to mess up the turkey. You don't want to mess it up. But I'm thankful. I have a Traeger sitting on my porch, and it's kind of like hitting you remember those Staples commercial, the easy button?
Yeah.
It's kind of like hitting the easy button. So I was fortunate. It turned out great.
Yeah, we had a really great Thanksgiving as well. Host a little family. Also hit the easy button on the turkey, but in a different way. In terms of cooking, we tried the spatchcock turkey method,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
where you cut out the spine and kind of flatten it down a little bit. Cut the cooking time down to just about hour and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. You got delicious turkey
Mm-hmm.
with about a third of the cook time.
Yeah. So with all of our Thanksgivings and eating food and being with family, um, it hopefully is a time of reflection. So a little bit, but we like talking about baseball. We like talking about baseball and life. So being that it's Thanksgiving season, we thought we'd talk a little bit about some of our experiences and things about baseball that we're thankful for. And so, Adam, where are we going to kick it off?
Well, I can just share a bit about answering the question what what's an aspect of baseball or
Mhm.
baseball life, career maybe, that we're thankful for. And I'll just kick it right off that I'm I'm thankful for the way it's been a bonding activity for family and friends.
Mhm.
Recently, you and I took a baseball trip to Chicago. You know, go find that show when you have a chance. Um, so, like, it's something, I mean, you and I are doing a whole YouTube thing about this,
Mhm.
going on almost 2 years here. And, it's been a connection with our dad and even just within our own families and with my family. We go watch minor league baseball. We watch the Mariners. We, stay connected with each other in some way off in like one of my favorite ways to do that is through baseball. So I'm grateful for that and the way that um, I've been able to use it as a way to connect with family.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great, and that is, I would completely agree with that. So, I mean, I know, like, just so people have a little bit of perspective. So, we started this YouTube channel. In some ways, you hope, like, hey, maybe we'll get tons of viewers and that kind of stuff, and it hasn't happened that way, and that's fine. I think it through that whole process, like you and I um, have found that more than anything, because we live so far apart from each other, this is such a great way to connect. Prior to doing this, Adam and I did we so the way it started, he sent me a calendar of trivia, and we were doing trivia via text every day for a year. And then we thought, and I talked to a buddy of mine. He's like, "You guys should do trivia on YouTube." So that's what we started doing. And I think more than I think through starting through the text and then carrying over to YouTube, that has really allowed you and I to become probably as close as we've ever been, even being at a distance, And, we grew up, we're the same age, we had same friends, same sports, and we were close growing up. But I think there's an argument to be made that we're as close as we've ever been um, because of baseball related stuff. So I definitely agree with you on that. The other thing that I think has been really moving and powerful for me and I've shared this a bit on other shows as well, is that in my community we've done some I call it sandlot baseball, where I just have an email list. I say, hey, we're going to go play baseball on this day at this park or this field or whatever, and we just see who shows up and we just play. And the thing that has been really cool is that um, there's all these kids that they like to play baseball, but they're not going to play in a league because of time commitments or or talent or whatever it is. But there's just open invitation, and it's just a reflection to me of the kind of life that I want to live, which is one of open invitation, of wanting to be, you know, I'm not perfect at this. I'm still introverted, but being in a posture of I want to invite people in, and I want people to feel welcome, and so it's a great opportunity for me to do something I enjoy doing and serve kids in that way. I even, we're getting ready we're just after Thanksgiving, and I just had one of the kids. I saw him today, and he's like, hey, are you doing baseball this year, this summer? We're 6 months away. And I was like, yeah, plan on it. And he's like, yes. Oh, so just that kind of stuff is a lot of fun.
Yeah, what a great way to show appreciation for your community and also for this great sport that has given us so much. And it's such a, I was thinking as we're both talking, it is also a very family friendly game. The the pace is nice and easy. In general, it's a pretty easy game to follow.
Hmm.
Once you get into some of the rules, it can get a
Yeah.
little tricky. Um, and there's a lot of fun stuff about it too. You got the mascots and the ballpark food is very kid friendly, and the video boards and all the fun stuff. And teams in general, both minor and major league baseball, really make an effort to tailor it to the kids, tailor it to families quite a bit, so that it becomes that type of experience where it's a lifetime love of the experience of baseball,
Hmm.
whether or not you even play it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And the last thing I'll mention here is I think both of us, there's so many things that we can be thankful for. I think we both want to just acknowledge um, people like Stu, Coach Stu, the guys we played with, and the coaches that we had, Burdette, and there's many more that we're not listing here. Even our dad coached, and Coach Roger, and the people that we had. The people make it what it is, and make it enjoyable. And I feel like we, for the most part, really had good coaches that cared about us, and then played with. I would say generally, like, we played with good kids that were enjoyable to play with and made it a good experience. Not every kid gets that experience. A lot of kids don't continue because of coaches or players that are tough to get along with.
Yeah, I would agree with that
Mm,
100%. I mean, that has contributed to my enjoyment of the game is I had such a positive experience with it and was
mm,
able to learn through that experience how to make friends and to maintain connections through the game.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, we have so much to be thankful for. We wanted to make this a little challenging because in life, in baseball, things don't always go your way. And so I was genuinely curious. I love Adam's perspective. We might get into this, or it might be another show. We'll see how it takes us. But your perspective on when things don't go as planned. Um, what? So I'm thinking about. I don't have a specific instance, but is there a memory that you can think of where things didn't go the way you hoped they would, and maybe it was disappointment, whatever you felt, that you look back on now and you say, I'm thankful that I went through that."
Wow, that's a really tough question and a great question to think about as you look back on your life. The thing that I think jumps out to me most immediately is our senior year of high school. Um, we had our basketball team made up of most of the same players who were on the baseball team.
Hmm.
Our basketball team won the state championship our senior year, and we made it to the baseball state championship that year.
Hmm.
And by way of how all the games fell and all that, I was a starting pitcher of that state championship game. Uh, Gave up many more runs than I was hoping to give up, and we lost the game. And I remember being emotional and crying at the end of the game, not so much because we lost. I remember the feeling of I will never get to be on a field or a court or anything like that, a competitive arena with these players who I've been playing with for 7, 8, 9 years.
Hmm.
I'll never get to have that experience again. And that, you know, that was really tough for me. And now looking back on it, um, it's still disappointing that we didn't win that game, but I feel grateful to have had the opportunity, grateful that our team was so much fun to play with, grateful that that experience was so meaningful to me that I felt that emotion. Like
Yeah. Right.
I could have had the experience of like, oh, it's over. I'm glad it's over. Good riddance to this. I'm moving on with my life. But in that moment, time when I was so young, um, that I had an awareness in that moment of how special that was, and and I was overcome by the emotion of it in a way that I remember fondly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really remarkable. I would say I probably had similar feelings, though. I don't think it hit me quite, right then. It didn't. I knew it was our last game. I knew it was the last time I'd be in that kind of but we playing sports right on the regular, um, for your team, for your high school and that kind of thing. Junior, elementary, junior high, high school had just become part of the it's just part of what you do. And you don't I think sometimes it takes time to realize, like, oh, okay, this, like, that phase of life is now past. And um and so I think it took me kind of a longer time, to for that really to set in some ways. And For me, the thing I was thinking about, um, was kind of along those lines, but I go back and forth of having these feelings of, like, I kind of wish I would have, tried to go play at the next level, to play collegiate, and And so it's interesting because for a million reasons, I wouldn't go back and undo the way things have gone in my life. And I'm very thankful for my family and so many other things that would have probably gone differently. Um, but there's there's still, in life, not just in baseball but in life, you kind of have these things of like, oh, what if that had gone differently, what if I had made that choice. And um, knowing that, like, boy, I don't have the opportunity to play, and all these kind of things. It's like, man, I would really love to be able to do that with more frequency. But and um, so I think it's an ongoing thing for me of um, being. I think we can easily live in the past regret of like, oh man, if only I had done this, if only I had done that. And coming um, we all deal with that. And so being in a position sort of daily, I mean, not I don't this isn't fresh in my mind every day, but daily, to be in a position where we're thankful, where um, when we think about past regrets or even past failures, that that we can take time to acknowledge those and then move forward. And so I'm thankful in one sense for the daily challenge that brings, of helping me acknowledge those and continue to progress my life and continue to think about, even thinking about how's that experience going to inform my decisions in the future. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's such a tough one because you don't there's no way you could possibly know the path that your life would take. And so you you look for the the things you appreciate in your life now.
Mhm.
There isn't any way for you to sit there and think, had I made a different choice when I was 18 years old, I would have this to be thankful for instead of what I'm experiencing right now, because you just don't know.
Right. Yes. And I think that the thing that's a temptation is, I don't even necessarily know how to describe it, in but going living in that, like living in that, oh man, I wish I would have done that, I wish I would have done this. And whether it's baseball or something else, is that you can't move forward in a like a there we all have things that happen, whether it's regrets or things that were completely out of our control. Like, it's appropriate when those things come up to take the time to process that. uh, but especially in this type of a situation, what would my life be if all I thought about was, gosh, I wish I would have done that, and I wish I would have, like, I can't do my job. I can't do care for my family. I would just be that has the potential to be an all consuming and not helpful thing.
That's absolutely true. And here's something that'll like tickle the brain a little bit here,
All right,
bro.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
There's no way to know that, you think about like a regret or like, I wish I could have done it this way.
Hmm.
If you had chosen that path, there's no way to know that perhaps if you would have been somewhere else when you were 40 whatever years old,
Hmm.
that you wouldn't be in the same place at the same time thinking, gosh, I wish I would have chosen the life that you're living right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, and that's something that I come back to because it's like, in one sense, I wish I would have tried, but also like we had friends that played collegiately, and it's different. It is not the same as playing high school baseball. I mean, it has different challenges, and yes, it's fun to be part of the team and that kind of thing, but it is different. And so I think that was one thing I was really hesitant about because I love to play the game for the sake of the game. And I didn't, for better or for worse, you know, is I didn't do a lot of the extra, weight training and, different stuff that I probably would have benefited from had I done some of that. But I love the game for the game and playing the game and practicing, be part of the team. And so I was, so you're right in the sense that you don't know, would I have gone in there and been miserable and then wanted nothing to do with baseball for the rest of my life. Um, whatever decisions I made outside of baseball, and then to be in this position that I'm in today, where it's like, like I get to do what I was just explaining as far as sandlot baseball with kids and that kind of thing. Like that's, do I miss playing? Sure, but is that fulfilling? Absolutely. So.
Yeah, and we both, maybe to wrap it up a little bit here,
Mhm.
we got to end our playing career at a time when we walked away with a true love of the game,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's something we know for sure, and that love we've been able to carry forward with us, and that you're able to pass on, like you're just saying, what if you left at a time when it was miserable to you and you never wanted to touch a baseball again? You wouldn't be where you are right now, offering
Mhm.
sandlot baseball and having kids come up to you and ask about baseball in 6 months from now,
Mhm.
and so we both have that privilege and something to be grateful for, that we walked away at a time when we still carry the, like, childlike love of the game that we
Mhm.
get to share with others.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I mean, that's a great note for us to end on. Obviously, as we said before, if you have stories you want to share about how baseball's impacted your life, what you're thankful for, um, even if it's something else, we'd love to hear from you. Love your stories and love interacting with you. So thanks for hanging with us, and we'll be back at it again here soon. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.